The only time I got really super excited about a song and I did call it out and I said, this is a hit, was when I wrote Get the Party Started.
Yeah.
That was the stupidest fucking song.
Hello and welcome to Unfamous, a podcast where we talk about the art of collaboration and the unfamous and untold stories into what goes into making your favorite pop culture moments come to life. I'm very excited about today having you two brilliant people here with us because we've interviewed all different types of collaborators, but we have not interviewed anyone about a documentary before, which I think is so interesting. I'm a huge fucking fan of rock docs, and as a fellow songwriter, a rock doc about another songwriter is really exciting. So instead of the awkward part of podcasts where I just like talk about you guys while you sit here, we use...
I'm good with that.
Okay,
Justin, go ahead.
We use this moment for you guys to introduce each other to the world and brag about each other instead of me just listing your credits awkwardly. So whoever would like to go first, please introduce everyone watching.
So I'm not Don Hardy, and this is Don Hardy. And the reason he's an incredible, he films everything too. He's a great cinematographer.
Oh, cool.
And director and a wonderful fly on the wall. It's like I can imagine a little fly with a little, thing, the little camera. But Don and I worked on this film. He actually brought me into it, and called Citizen Penn. It was about Sean Penn when he went and just single-handedly scooping up everybody in Haiti when the earthquake happened.
Oh, right.
And I got a call on, I think it was December 27th. I don't know what year it was. Hey, and it was from guys from the court. Hey, is this Linda Perry? Yes. We hear that you're really great at putting on fundraisers. And
because you did the one for the LGBT
for like
Center.
7 years. And they're like, we heard that you're the person to call, and we're in big trouble because we have this event coming up and we don't have anything, and we're wondering if there's any way you could help us out. And I'm like, of course. They're telling me what it is, and I'm like, okay, when is it? They're like January 3rd, and I'm all, what? It's December. You understand it's December 27th right now, and you're talking about January 3rd, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, Sean Penn, fuck it, I'm going for it, man. And I get Billie Eilish. I get Macy Gray, Beck, St. Vincent, I think. And then we all pulled together, and you got Cat Stevens, and he was having a problem coming into the country. Anyways, that's how him and I met. And then he said, I think you would be really great at scoring. And I just put that into the universe. I want to score a film. And then he said that, and I think I told you that too. I was like, oh my God, I was just saying I want to score a film.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's how we met. And then that's all I got. But he's a wonderful friend, a great director, and really, really, Don sees the story in the chaos.
Yeah.
And he made a whole documentary on me about seeing this chaos and found the story and the through line.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between, that's Don.
Yes,
round of applause for Don.
Don.
Don, introduce Linda to everyone.
Is there people that don't know Linda Perry?
Just in case.
Just in case.
There are.
Okay. Well, I think we all probably started knowing Linda Perry with the band called Four Non Blondes. She was the lead singer and songwriter for. And there's this little song called What's Up that people might recognize. So
maybe in a supermarket, like when aisle 7, something like that.
Do people send you a lot of copies of people singing this song?
Yeah, totally.
Because now they send them.
I feel
to
like
me.
I need to make a movie on just that. All the like iPhone recordings, videos that I've gotten from people all over the world singing What's Up.
Well, I think before I ever met you, someone sent you a video of at my sister-in-law's funeral.
Yes.
Of everyone singing that song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
A lot of funerals for some reason. Yeah, like I get a lot of funerals.
It was her favorite song, and
Yeah.
I was like, let's just celebrate at the end of the funeral and sing that song. Anyway, I interrupted your introduction.
No, it's true. And so that's how I first knew Linda. And then, as she mentioned, this chance meeting, as all good things come from Sean Penn, we happened to meet there, and we talked about this movie, and I knew of Linda's other work too that we shouldn't trivialize in any way. We're talking songs like "Beautiful" that she wrote for Christina Aguilera that became huge, defining songs. Somebody stood up. We did a Q&A after the screening last night, and somebody stood up and said that song has saved a lot of lives.
Yeah.
And I really thought a lot about that over the past 24 hours.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
What were
do
you
you ever
thinking
think about that? The weight of a song like that you wrote? That it could save lives?
I mean, I don't think I look at myself as that grandiose. I'm not coming from that point of view. I'm just writing a song as clear and honest as I possibly can. And I always think honesty is what helps people.
Yeah. Linda Perry!
Thank you. We got the point.
Don, when you were like, hey, I think you'd be a great subject for a documentary, what was that? What made you think that I would like to make a movie about you?
Well, when we were collaborating on Citizen Penn, it happened, I believe when we met at that gala that you mentioned, it was the beginning of 2018. Mm-hmm. So that happened. We started working together, and then perhaps maybe it's 2019, the top of 2019. Anyhow, when we were really in the thick of trying to do the score for it, it was COVID. And so we really couldn't work together that much. I live up in the San Francisco Bay Area. So we started doing stuff, as I recall, through Zoom, but it wasn't there in the studio. But
Right.
At least we were forging in that time, a relationship, more like a director-composer relationship. And then when things started to open up a bit, I did ask, could I come into the studio? And I didn't have I did not say I was making a documentary out of the gate. But we just started spending time together.
Yeah.
And that time turned into me with a camera, filming, and we start just filming things. And again, spending that time together. And when I look at the film now, all these years later, we're talking 6 years later, really,
Yeah.
I feel like what I love about the movie is it feels like a conversation between the two of us.
Yeah.
And you hear me off camera at times, just having that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Was your goal were you trying to make a documentary? Was that the goal? And you're just like, oh, let me start slow and just hang out and film a little bit? Or how did you?
My goal was to trick Linda into letting me make a documentary.
Okay, great. That's what I was.
No, I don't think I had those aspirations out of the gate. But once you spend a little bit of time with Linda and you see the process.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
Dawn comes to me. So we're filming I think it's like kind of just whatever I'm at, with the Equalizer, my organization, and we're out South by Southwest, and I do this whole organization for like 2 days, and it's just all girls, and it was really great. So he filmed that. And then there's, I'm in the studio with, an artist, and he's filming that. So nothing really massive is going on, but, so that was the earlier stuff. And then I started having stuff going on, but he was like, hey, that stuff I've been filming, well, I did 30-minute edit, and I'd really like for you to see it, and I refused to see it. And he's like, I think there's a documentary here, and I have some people that want to back it. And I was shocked, and I was just like, I don't want to hear about it. After my initial shock, I was able to like go, okay, what? But at first I was like, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to make a documentary.
Do you know why you were so resistant?
Because I didn't want to do it. I thought, I didn't know him enough to know that, I don't want a fluff piece. I'm not looking to glamorize, my very trivial, complex, emotional, fucked up state of mind, So I wasn't looking for anything like that, like, oh, Linda Perry, but then as we went along, I started really liking Dawn, and we were funny because we'd butt heads,
Yeah.
or I was butting his head. But did you just validate that? I am, I was like, because I was just like, it was emotional, and then shit started happening, and so it was very, very complex for me to wrap myself around it, and then I think I tried to get involved and try to steer it a different way, and then that wasn't working, and I literally had to just let go, and then I had to let go because there was a lot of trauma going on, and then I was done. I was like, okay, you go do the movie you want, call me when it's done. And he's like, you understand the movie's about you, and I'm like, I get it, but I don't want anything to do with it. And then, I mean, he literally, it was him and Sean and Salinger over at Mercury literally had to drag me in to go watch this thing. They were like, are you going to show up? We really need you to see this. We need your sign off on this. And I'm like going, oh God.
How did you guys, what was the moment, especially for you, when you were like, I don't know if I want to do this? What was can you remember the exact moment of like, all right, I trust you enough to try to just go?
Well, I think I just did, I mean, I think it was because I was having conflict with Don a couple times on things. I kind of knew, I felt like he was like a brother, I already. So I was natural. Like I felt okay, going after him, like, sorry. But, I didn't understand too. And, I'm a creative person trying to understand a world that I don't know, because if I would have had any control over the documentary, it would not be out.
Right.
I would have ripped out every vulnerable, raw scene in it, and he would have had, maybe me and Kate Hudson for like, it would have been a short story about Kate Hudson for 5 minutes. Right. That was it. Yeah. And but so to me, I just had to, and I'm just like that. I'm a very instinctual person. I have a lot of, I ride on my feelings all the time. I mean, that's the only thing I got is to go on my gut feelings, and I felt I could trust Don immediately. And also he gave me this incredible opportunity to sit and score a film, which I've never done before, which was so fun. And then after that, I scored another documentary, then I scored a film, and then another film. So because of him giving me that, that permission, it opened up this whole world like, oh, I can do this. And thank you, universe, for bringing him to me. So the universe brought him because I asked and he showed up.
We're already seeing, the podcast is new, but we're seeing it's a lot of people who are actually really trying to learn how to collaborate. And when you said like you already had some, I can't remember, you said conflict or friction with him in the scoring part of it. How do you, I love that, like that made you go, oh, we had conflict and we got past it. Yeah. That makes me want to trust him enough to make a documentary.
No, the conflict was happening while he was in my studio hanging out and filming. And I would like, there was like just things, and then I did something really, I think where it turned around for me was during Citizen Penn. So I wrote a song for the end title, and Don was like, well, who are we going to get? And I'm like, I'm going after Bruce Springsteen. And he was like, yeah, fuck yeah. And, so I'm like, I'm balls out, I'm going. And then I found out, no, Bruce is not going to be available. So I'm like I'm going after Bono then, So I called Bono's manager, and he just laughed at me. He's like, wow, you have a lot of balls. You just think that you could just call me and Bono's just going to show up
and sing.
He's like, first of all, I just have to applaud that. But he's like, you know what? Send me the song. Yeah. I'm just curious. And so I send him the song, and then I think it was 2 days later, like at 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, I get an email, and it's a fucking voice memo of Bono singing this fucking song with his kids drunk, like in his living room. And it was like, oh my fucking God. I couldn't believe it. I drove to my best friend's house that night and I'm like honking, buddy, oh my God, check this out. And I'm like playing it's obviously Bono, and anyways. And so their whole thing was like, okay, Bono's going to come and sing but he needs everything really sparse. Now, I'm not understanding when an artist says, I need nobody there, like I'm in that producer, songwriter, that like I have to protect the artist.
Yeah, of course.
I wasn't thinking, so I wasn't allowing Don to come. And of course he wants to come.
Right.
It's like fucking Bono is going to sing
the song for his movie.
It has been a 10-year project.
And I'm just like trying to really overprotect the situation. And I fucked up there. I fucked up. I should have been protecting him.
Right.
And I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I was protecting the artist and what I was being told. And then finally I was just like, yes, of course, come.
Cool.
And I was a little afraid, like if Dawn and Sean, because was Sean there too? Yeah. I was afraid if they were going to go there. And because also I didn't want to think Bono, like I was seizing this opportunity to get all these people in there and get, photoshops, and yeah. I'm like going, okay, whatever. And then he walks in, he doesn't care at all. And he's like, totally scared of me. He's like, I've heard about you. You're going to pull feelings out of me and, all this stuff. And I'm like going, okay, I got this. So, because it's Bono. Yeah. Bono's coming to my studio to work with me. Yeah. And I'm a bit intimidated, but not because I don't easily intimidate. But it was like, he's like the golden god, right. Anyway, so I think after I understood my fault in that, I think I even called you and said, I see where I fucked up. Yeah. And I'm so sorry. Of course you're going to be angry at me because it's your film. So that was our first really thing. And then after we got through that, it was like everything else was just easy.
Yeah. I mean, what I love so much about that, like people watching, hoping to learn to be better collaborators, is that understanding that getting through that conflict actually makes you so much better collaborators. Instead of throwing your hands up and be like, all right, well, you're upset, I'm upset, fuck you. Yeah. That doesn't help a collaboration. That ends a collaboration.
Well, I think also with collaboration, I'm just going to switch to songwriting for a second. The most important part is all ego has to be left outside. Yeah. You can't walk in, with ego and controlling the situation. Like, I never know one lyric. I don't know one chord. I don't know one thing we're going to do. When that artist walks in, they have to trust me. So I earn their trust by having an hour conversation with them. And we just sit and we talk. And I'm just kind of sussing it out, finding what's real, finding what's bullshit. Yep. And then I lock into, then I guide questions and start bringing them to, okay, I see where the real point is. And I'll start bringing them to that. Then the tears will come. Then I grab the guitar and I'm like, it's time. And they're like, time for what? I'm like, we're going to write a song. Yeah. They're like, do you have something? I'm like, no. Yeah. You have it. I'm just going to pull it from you right now. And then I'll just start playing chords. And they're like, well, what are we doing? I'm like, you're going to ad lib, and they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're going to open up your mouth and you're just going to talk to me just like we have been for an hour. But now we're going to do it with a melody and me playing guitar. Yeah. And so I'll start it off. And right there, I have to know I can start it off. But then after I start it off, I have to back off because I'll go all night. I'll come up with 5 songs like that. But I have to back off and then I have to give them the power. Yeah. And that to me is where great collaborations happen. It's like, because I don't know the state of mind of the artist. Are they coming in intimidated? Are they coming in with a purpose? What are they here for? And I have to figure that out. Yep. And then I have to show them that I'm equally as vulnerable. Yeah. And then I give them the power. And then once they take that power, that's where the collaboration really starts, because now we're talking on an equal level. Yep. I'm no longer Linda Perry, the songwriter, and they're no longer so-and-so big famous artist. Right. We become one. Yeah.
Hello, my little unfamous friends. So, the thing about the algorithm, Lil Miss algorithm, is that she doesn't want to let people know about our podcast unless she thinks that people love it. So if you follow this podcast, what do the old school YouTubers say? Like, subscribe, and follow. If you do that for me, then you will help the unfamous message of the beauty of the art of collaboration reach more people. So please do me just a cute little favor and follow this podcast and share it and do all those fun things. Bye. It's for both of you, because it's actually so interesting, especially to hear you talk about that specifically. So much of what you guys are creating is about someone else's personal life, right? Which is what I do as well every day. I'm writing about someone else's personal life. How do you find the balance of sharing, encouraging someone sharing deeply personal things about themselves versus making sure that they feel protected? Because I always find that too. Like, I'll get someone to say, like, put the craziest thing they said and put it in the song. But then I always go, however, my face isn't on the single cover. So if that's too crazy for you, let's talk about it. But how do you guys find that balance of getting really real, but also making sure everyone feels protected?
I think the job of a documentarian, or the way that I've always approached it, is I'm there to observe and let people go where they want to go.
Yep.
And whatever way, sometimes you need a big crew to accomplish a certain scene, but my preference is always to do things pretty small.
Yeah.
It's typically myself and sometimes just me or very trusted folks that I've been working with for a number of years that I know are cool and won't disrupt things or be loud about, if a microphone dies or something, don't interrupt a moment. Like, we'll figure it out. So I feel like that's really the biggest part of my job, is to just, I assume it's very much like you, or like what you guys, you try to create an environment where folks are just able to feel that they can say whatever.
Yeah.
And that down the line with me, it's generally like a year down the road, but you start looking at footage and piecing it together. And I really always try to show, and this is why we asked Linda to come watch it, as before anything's locked, I want to show it to them, because you've been gracious enough to share your time and yourself with me. But this is a story about you. Are you comfortable with it? If you're not, let's talk about what we can change here. Not giving away editorial control. Like, it does have to be coming from me and in that, but it is a discussion.
Have you, in moments where, because I'm sure you have stories as a writer producer as well, in moments where an artist or the subject, whatever you want to call them, is too scared to say something or too scared to keep something in the edit. But I mean, I know like this, but that's the lyric that fucking makes the song go. That's the engine to the whole song. Even if it's in the second verse, it doesn't seem like it's that important. I know it is. How do you, as a filmmaker, how do you convince the subject to let that thing stay in the movie?
When screening this film with Linda, there is a scene in the movie that I was definitely worried about. And you may know the moment that I'm referring to, where Linda's in the closet.
Yep.
And it is a scene.
I was going to ask about that, so thank you for making my job easy. You just talk about it.
It is a scene that a lot of people want to know about, because there's a lot of questions to it. And we hadn't talked about it since you sent it to me, and then we're watching the film, and it's just Linda and her best friend Aubin and my producing partner Dan Seliger and myself in this big room. And I think Dan and I might have had a little scotch in the back of the room, waiting for this, knowing what was coming. And as it got closer, you start to get scared because you just don't know. And then we heard Linda from the front row go, "Oh my God, you kept that?" Or you used that. And then we talked about it afterwards, but it wasn't like you have to take that out immediately. I think Linda and Sean and other people I've worked with generally do understand the power of an image like that and what it says.
What was your thought process of obviously you exclaimed from the front row, "Oh my God, you kept that." What made you want it to stay?
Well, when I got the cancer, I had the surgery. They I was having a meltdown, like I don't even know who I am anymore with all this bullshit, so confusing. He's capturing all that, and he said, hey, if you're ever alone, just lay the camera, your phone down, just push record in case you feel like something's coming. Rather just get rid of all the bullshit, that doesn't need to be there, but just so you're ready. And I'm like, all right. I go in my closet. I'm like, okay, there's the I'm just going to put the phone down. I start moving about. I'm going to get dressed, because God forbid I'm never without my hat and not done up in some way, I'm not going to do that. Anyways, so I'm blah, 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 and I see on my chair, the white iPad is there. I flip it over and I'm like, oh, just, as I'm dicking around, I'm just going to, play some music. And I just push play. And one, I never even thought about. Two, Rhodes is the only one that uses that iPad. It's my 11-year-old child. At the time was 8 or 7. What the hell? How do they know about Supertramp? First of all, because they were the ones that were listening. Rhodes was listening to Supertramp.
Yeah.
Which was, I haven't even addressed that, so.
But that's pretty cool.
It's pretty awesome. So I push and The Long Way Home comes on and I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I honestly have no idea what happened.
Wow.
Something happened. I felt emotional and I came out of it. I stopped the recording. I instantly sent it to him. I said, I do not know what this is. Do what you want with it, but I'm erasing it right now off of my phone. That was it. Are you okay? Whatever. Didn't answer. I don't know. He called me or texted me. Didn't answer. So, cut to, mind you, I have no idea what just happened, and I forgot about it because it was like one of those moments where you just, you've had it. Everyone in this room has had that moment.
Yeah.
But we don't film it and we don't put it on a fucking big screen, right? So I'm with my best friend and I'm watching the movie and I'm like, I swear, I'm like this half the time. I'm scooting down. It's like I'm watching, Freddy Krueger come out of the, it's like, Chainsaw Massacre coming after me. And I'm just so frightened by everything I'm seeing because I don't like to see myself. I don't like to hear myself at all. And I'm like going, and then that scene comes on. I mean, it couldn't be any more bigger than what I was watching. And I was like going, oh my, and I said, oh my God, I cannot believe, because that's the first time I'm seeing
that you
it.
saw it. Yeah.
I didn't know what was going on. I don't know what I filmed. I don't know what happened. And that's the first time, and I'm watching it. And I was so overwhelmed by it that I had a couple notes on something else. It was just talking heads. I said, we don't need those people.
Yeah.
And then I gave him a hug. I said, you made a really beautiful film. And he's like, is that it? I'm like, yep. I was there were so many things I would have changed, but what hit me was he knows something I don't. Mm-hmm. And obviously this needs to be seen because it made me so uncomfortable.
Wow.
That to me is a powerful place to be.
Yeah.
So I just let it go. Yes.
I think that's why it was such an uncomfortable thing to watch because it was so raw and relatable. Like watching that, I was like, fuck, like I've done that so many times. Not in front of a camera, definitely in the closet. Like having those moments and then hearing you talk about like, oh, I used to dance all the time. Almost kind of because that moment was such a hard moment for you, it was almost like romanticizing the past in a way that it's like, no, like everybody goes through a roller coaster journey. It's just so hard to pull yourself out of the darkness you're having in that moment. But then once you release it and can reflect on it, and you're so lucky that you can watch it back, you can be like, fuck, like there's so many things about my life that is so good, and this is something that I just put out there for people to like take a step back and realize that it's like these moments you can be pulled out of, and like you can and move forward from those emotions and see how beautiful that vulnerability can be.
Well, I think that was really well put. Thank you. And it is the rawness that is relatable, and that's why I kept it, and that's why I didn't pick on the film like that.
How does it feel, right? You're normally in the driver's seat of getting people to show their vulnerability, for getting to people to emotionally expose yourself. How did it feel to be in the passenger seat of that?
Well, it was, I'm always up for any kind of improvement. You know, I'm always searching for how can I evolve and become a better person.
Were you always?
I've always been like that.
Really?
You know, I feel like I was stuck a little bit in my early 20s. I was very rebellious, and it was very hard to reach me. And because something happened, and I just like kind of, you know, of all the stuff, you know, because the movie touches a little bit on stuff, but it's like, it's deeper than that, you know, like that would have been, I mean, that's a whole other film, but it's a lot. There's a lot of damage, a lot of trauma. And I think that why I like the film the way it is because it touches on things. It's not, I just said, the film is not about anything, but it's about everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's like got this appeal, like it's a little bit about that. And like, we talk a little bit about that and then we move on. It's like the cancer. Okay, I had cancer and then we're on to, you know, somewhere else. And it's like, you know, it was like crazy. It was just like, but I loved that because it's like Dawn didn't overstate things that were obvious.
Right.
You know, like how some people can just overdo, like stick on a subject and keep bringing it home. So it's like, no, we can move on. We got it. So I think that watching the film, I've only watched it one time.
Yeah.
I can't bear it again.
Yeah.
And so I watched it one time. I scored it, but I didn't watch it while I was scoring it. I turned.
Which she did not tell me until after the
Yeah.
fact.
I scored the film and I just had audio on.
Shut
Yes.
up.
And it very quietly. And I just played in the areas, like he gave me areas that he wanted, you know, the music. I couldn't. I was like, and I didn't tell him that, but I just put the audio on very lightly, you know, and then I'm hearing where he wants something.
What is it where you can hear yourself, but you don't want to see? What is it about seeing?
I just couldn't. It was too much.
Yeah.
It was too much.
It's
too much. It's
right.
just way too much. And
I mean, I can't even watch this fucking podcast.
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, I've done all
like,
these interviews and I have not, and I asked people, was it okay? They're like, it's amazing. I'm like, okay, because I can't
your
watch
interviews
it.
are very good.
You know,
and my For You
thank you.
page is flooded.
Thank you.
And I had a friend send me one of your interviews literally 10 minutes before you got here. I was like, oh, really funny. He has no clue that we were doing this today. It's like, oh, she's going to be here in 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, at that moment, when Dawn is pointing all this back at me and I'm opening up again, because he gave me that feeling of safety.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, I'm kind of reckless emotionally anyways. Like I could have been with a couple strangers and they could have been doing crack and I would have been emotionally available. Like I'm like, you know, I think I'm looking to be emotionally available, but it's like, it just kind of comes out. It just, I don't mean to be honest. It just is. And I was actually even thinking about it because somebody last night was like, has your honesty ever gotten you know, like made, what was it? Like something about, have you ever regretted being so honest?
So vulnerable.
And then, or vulnerable. And I started thinking about it on the way here. That question popped up in my head. And I was like, oh yeah, there's been times where I've gotten, like, people just don't want that kind of honesty.
Yeah.
So I've literally have people like sometimes don't even want to reach back out to me to tell me about what's going on because they know I'm going to be super honest about, you know, where they're at in their life, and they know they're not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
They know it, and they purposely stay away from me.
Not calling you.
They're not calling me because they know I'm going to call them out on it. I mean, there are so many artists
I'm that
like that.
friend too.
Yeah.
I'm only with my friends, not with like work people, but with my friends.
I do it with everybody. And so it's like, I do it with everybody. Again, you made a really beautiful film. I wish it wasn't about me, but it is. You know, because I really think I would enjoy it.
Right.
You know, watching someone else crumble like that.
Yeah.
And that whole end scene with, discovering the song and the band and how powerful that is. It's like, it's probably one of my favorite things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I feel bad about saying that because it's about me.
Right.
But it's so powerful and so beautiful.
It's very powerful. Linda, we hear all the time of when we write a song with someone about something in their life, it helps them heal past it. Do you feel like making a documentary that talks about your relationship with your mom was healing at all?
Well, again, that was just another thing that happened. You know what I mean? It was, and this I'm thinking about him, and I'm thinking, he was probably sitting there, I fucking hit a jackpot here. Who knew all this shit was going to come out?
Well, the way that you let me know things was, I think when we sat down, it was a day, I believe we'd done we'd shot something in the morning, but then there was nothing in the afternoon. And we just sit and we're talking. I remember I was asking you about Neil Young and a lot of like kind of old questions. And then you're like, yeah, I have cancer. There was no buildup. I'm like, come back to that. What?
Yeah, Neil Young's fabulous, also cancer.
Yeah, I know. I had
like,
cancer.
so I'm dealing with this thing, and that we'd been in the studio so much together, and you hadn't told me, and then it was just like,
well,
there.
I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell
Yeah.
my mom. I didn't tell my family. I mean, the only people that knew at the time was my best friend and Sarah.
Yeah.
That was it. Those only people that knew. So when my mother got sick, I disappeared, and there was so much going on with that. It wasn't just my mom was sick. I had a family member that literally went crazy, calling the police on me. It was crazy. I had to kidnap my own mother out of her home. And it was crazy. It was nuts. So I kind of was telling him a little bit about it. I'm like, listen, if I wasn't in such emotional crisis and the business Linda came out, which is very rare, I'm like the most terrible, horrible business person. But I did have one moment of like, God, this is a film right here. You should get over here. Like, I should have had him over there because it was crazy. It was nuts, the whole family, but that was just another movie and it was too personal. So I'd tell him a little bit. I actually have a lot more footage that I actually filmed for you that I didn't send because I was like, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. It's like a very personal thing. Yeah. And it's about my mom. If it were me dying and all this I was like, come on, bring everybody in. I would have been totally like a whole concert about it, and I'm on my deathbed and, playing guitar or whatever,
Requiem. Yeah, Requiem,
anyway, so
a Requiem for yourself.
Yes. And so for that was just a piece of it that came out in a really great way. Really, everything, I have to say, everything about the film was organic. Mm-hmm. That again, we had no intention to make a documentary.
Yep.
No intention for any of this to happen. When I told, and there was a lot of trust because I told Dawn, hey, I need to jam. After my mom died, I said, I need to fucking jam. I need to get out of my studio. I need to go into a rehearsal space, put a band together and just fucking jam. And he's like, well, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know. And so we talked the night before. I said, hey, we good for tomorrow at Mates? He's like, yeah, what are you going to do? I'm like, I don't know, but I have a band coming. Yeah. And I hired strings too and background vocalists, and he's like, and you don't know what you're going to do? I'm like, no, but for some reason I feel like I'm supposed to have them there. And so we get off the phone, 2:00 in the morning, I write this song, sobbing. I show up at 9 or whatever. I tell the band to be there at 10. I tell the strings to be there at 11. The times are wrong, I'm sure, but this is my story. But it was an hour in between, right? So 10, 11, 12. So, but it did happen like that. Yeah. So I walk in, I'm like, Dawn, I wrote a song and I'm still trying to figure out lyrics and stuff. Band walks in, I teach them the song. Strings, as soon as they knew strings walk in, I immediately switch over, put on string arrangements in my head, teach it to them right away. I have no idea. Yeah. No fucking idea. Background singers walk in after they learn their part, try to give them idea, but mind you, I don't have set lyrics yet. So they're, bless their heart, they're just trying to follow me and I'm just because now I'm emotional. We start filming it, or it's being filmed the whole time. And then all of a sudden this incredibly beautiful song just poofs, shows up. And then I get the emotional Paz gets emotional, it's the bass player.
Yep.
And it's just, and then the way they edit it together, it was just so incredible.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I learned so much because right after that, I wrote a whole album.
Right.
The whole movie was about me not knowing how to write a song for myself.
Yeah.
And that whole moment watching it, I just, poof.
Yep.
A whole crazy, cinematic, emotional record that has a very clear through line just came out of me.
Yeah.
From start to finish.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Are there things for both of you that you feel like now, with whether it's wisdom or success or however you want to look at it, are there things now that you say no to that you wouldn't have said no to in the past?
No, I think, well, for me, it's a challenging time in documentary film. It just is. And I think all independent film. So I think there has to be a little bit more caution on what stories you want to put a couple years of your life into.
Right.
But probably my biggest takeaway is when you have somebody that welcomes you in like Linda has, I'm so happy that people are really going to have a chance to see this film, because I do think it's universal but told in a very specific, personal manner. As Linda said, everybody's had these experiences, and everybody has experienced loss or healthcare scares, health scares. But rarely is it seen in a film like this with somebody willing to share it so vulnerably. So I think, for me, it is just figuring out what projects next I would approach, and can we have this same kind of intimacy in them? Because this is rare, and it's super rare to have a story where the premise is, will Linda find her voice again? Right. And now we're sitting here all these years later with a finished movie that I'm very proud of, and a whole album of material that the film and the experience inspired in some way. I mean, that's a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah, completely. How about for you, Linda? Are there things that were you always good at saying no to things, or?
I said no so much. And, I think that I hit a place where I said, you know what, I'm going to try yes. I'm going to see what yes feels like. Because I'm a dick, I'm about, with my songs, I don't let anybody use it. Everybody's American Idol, for God's sakes, leave me alone. It's like,
you don't let American Idol use your songs?
Never.
Oh, see, I was broke for so long, and I'm such a whore that I'm like, yes to everything. Yes.
Well, we're the same, but we're very different.
Yeah.
You're so good at writing what people want to hear. You're really good, and you craft these such hooky melodies. You have that thing. You can just write a pop song. You just do. And if you can't, you put a team together with you to make it happen.
Yeah.
I'm solo, and I'm not looking to write hits.
Right.
Those just kind of happen. I didn't mean to write any of the songs that I've written.
Yeah.
They just kind of happened, and sometimes some hit, sometimes they don't. I don't really care about that, but so my songs for me are more precious.
Right.
And I'm leaving those songs to my child. And I want to have I just want to know that everything I did, it's clear, it's respectful to me, that I'm proud of everything I've done. I've said no to so many artists that have wanted to work with me, a lot of the people that you work with. And I say no because I don't believe them.
Right.
I don't believe them.
Yeah.
And, and they'll come in and with this, I want this, I want that. And I look at them like, I know you're really popular. I know that. And I think you're actually kind of cool, but I don't have a connection to you.
Yeah.
So, and they look at me like, what? I'm coming to you, and I'll recommend somebody else. I think I've actually recommended you, and
thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
And they're blown away by that. And then actually after their initial shock, they're like, you know what? That's actually really cool. You could have just taken my money and he wrote me a shit song, but I actually kind of dig it,
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so no, 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 no. And then finally one day I was like, you know what? I'm going to see what, yet still not saying yes to American Idol, but I do say yes to like, okay, I'm going to let What's Up go out for a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to go let it breathe and beautiful, go, bye-bye, see you later, go.
Yeah.
And let them have their day in the sun and then, but come back to me because I'm not going to let you guys that free, and so I'm
Wow.
very specific.
What's-
Let me just tell you
Please,
this. I
please.
will turn down a blockbuster with tons of money for the cool indie that's using it in a very specific, more emotional way.
Yeah.
I'll choose, and then at the time I don't have a publishing company now, but when I did, they would be so upset with me. It's like, wait a minute, am I getting this right? But you turned down the big blockbuster that was going to make you money, but you said yes to the weird indie Australian film, and for like $1,000. I'm like,
Yeah.
because that I believe in. I don't
Wow.
believe in that.
Wow. That is, I think I could talk to you about just that all day. One, I'd never had a song that I wrote alone good enough for anyone to want to put it in a movie or American Idol. So for me, there's always 2 or 3 other writers on my songs that it's like, well, let's just all say yes and let it go. And 2, you're 100% right of none of my songs, very few are personal to me because I never liked pop music. I still don't. So to me, it was always just a job. Once I left my band and started writing songs for other people, none of them are about me. None of them resonate with me. None is a dramatic term. Most of them don't. But for you, these are all, for the most part, 100% you.
I want to go back to you for a second.
Okay.
I
So
knew that was coming.
that's where we're very the same. Like I come from, this band that I don't even know what we were. There were so many different genres going on in that one album, but I didn't plan on, becoming a producer and songwriter.
Right.
That just kind of happened. And I think why we're good at it is because we're coming from a different place.
Yep.
We're coming from this. That's why we're good.
Right.
We're not coming from the pop world. We're
Yep.
bringing in melody
Yep.
and different structure. But with you, it's like, I don't believe for one moment that you can't write a hit song by yourself or something that you think is worthy enough.
Yeah.
I think you just got comfortable working with a team.
Yeah.
And it somehow made it maybe easier for you to process that. Like, maybe I need this. Maybe it's more fun because you're obviously, social too. And you got such
Yeah.
a great personality. And who wouldn't want to be hanging out in a studio with you? I never did that. I
Yeah.
never knew to work with other people because I didn't understand that world. I was just
Yeah.
like, I'm just used to working on my own. And then when artists come in, they're vague, they're like on the couch. And at the time when I was really popping was 2002, in the 2000 to 2015 or whatever. And, if they weren't on their sidekicks, they were on their iPhones and it was like, could care less, showing up like at God knows what time. You're supposed to be there at 10 a.m., showing up at 10 p.m.
Yep.
It's like, I'm sorry, did you get the AM, PM wrong? And so I was kind of and people they wanted me to just do it on my own because I was also producing.
Right.
Engineering.
Yeah.
I was doing everything, writing and playing. So I think I just got used to
Yeah.
being by myself,
Yeah.
where I would have, I think, had way more hits if I just called you up and said, hey, can I join your writing posse?
Yeah.
Because I think that would have been a different experience. And
Yeah.
so I did finally say yes to that. So I started working with this girl that I found, and so not my style at all, but I love her because she couldn't be any more like, college, frat girl, but she's got such a great thing about her. Like, she's so green and so innocent.
Yeah.
It's like ridiculously sweet. And I'm like, okay. And she was like, I need to work with you. And so persistent. So I said, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. I called Nat Dunn I called Faraz.
Yep.
I called this girl, Lisa Fatale, that's in this band, Tara Jr.
Yep.
And I'm like, you guys are going to be my songwriting team. Here's the girl. This is the couple songs I've written for her. They all loved it. I'm like, now we're going to write. And I brought in this guy, Grabbits, as well to do some beats. And it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And we wrote the greatest songs. I never would have wrote most of those songs on my own.
Right.
Because they were dumb, and it was like fun, dumb and fun.
So how does it feel to change your process this late in your journey?
It was great because, I'm just like, okay, Linda, it's okay to be dumb and fun.
Yeah.
It's okay. Everything doesn't have to be like this bleeding my fucking emotions of just, my, whatever,
Right.
like just spewing out. Like it's like deep, Linda.
Now there's a whole movie documenting you spewing your
exactly.
emotions. Yeah.
So I loved it.
We can put it to bed.
I loved it. I had so much fun doing it. And then it honestly, on top of it, and this for the collaborator part, kids that would come in and they didn't want to write with songwriters, you know, they were just like, no, I don't want to do that. And I would tell them, listen, write the fucking song.
Yeah.
Just write it.
Yep.
You don't know what it's going to be. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's a country song for somebody else.
Yep.
Stop editing.
Yep.
Stop editing yourself, because we'd get in and it turned in to a country song, and they're like, well, I'm not into country. I'm like, you know what? But this country's into us right now. So let's fucking write it.
Yeah.
And it could be for anybody. So I always tell the kids, stop editing. Just let it come
happen.
out. Just
Yeah.
let it happen.
Yeah.
And you never know.
Yeah.
Just because it's showing up country doesn't mean it can't turn into a rock and roll song or a pop song.
Yeah.
Just let the process happen. And I think that's the most awesome thing about collaborating is when you don't go in. Like someone says to me, do you ever get writer's block? And I'm like, no, that's
Same.
a thinker's problem.
Yeah.
I don't think about writing. I just write.
Yeah.
If it's there to write, it'll show up. But if
Yeah.
you're having problems, that means you're overthinking and you're trying to write a song. So
Yep.
number one thing to all you little collaborators and writers, don't fucking think.
Yeah.
And don't edit. Just let the song come out the way it's going to come out, and then deal with it later.
Yeah.
Stay in the moment, because that's important.
Do you have that as a filmmaker? Are there moments where you get stuck, and how do you get around it? Or are you similar to Linda and me, where it's just like, if it's flowing, it's flowing, or?
Yeah, just listening to that, that's exactly what I try to tell myself, and now that I've been doing this for a while, when younger filmmakers come to me, and it's often they want to wait for all the money to show up, or they need to have a large crew, they need to have whatever it might be. And I always say, just start filming it. If there's a story that you're passionate about telling, grab a camera. Heck, you can do so much with a phone now.
Right.
Like, grab it. If you can find a couple of people that are into it as much as you and a small crew. But momentum gives more momentum.
Yeah.
And you just have to start filming it.
Yeah. What do you guys hope, right? Because now this movie is... this album, it's all one thing. Like, for both of you, what if you could pick one thing that you really hope people take away from it? What would it be?
For me, it would be, it's okay to be vulnerable. It's actually very powerful.
Yeah.
To be in that space.
And it's fucking, the amount of vulnerability that you share in this, it's very, very powerful.
Thank
it's
you.
Like deep courage.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. But that, I would say, for me, I hope people understand that. It's just like, we're so afraid. And especially right now, we live in such fear, and it's just like, but, it's so powerful to show people vulnerability, because it breaks people down.
Yeah.
It takes their guards down.
Yeah.
When, it makes people trust you. And on top of it, we're just in a world right now where we just need honesty, because I don't know what is going on. I don't know what is real right now.
Yeah.
I do not. I am not even trying to make a statement. I really am confused. What is real?
Same. No, same. It's the amount of even people, friends of mine, posting completely opposite information. Friends. It's not like, oh, it's my distant uncle who's posting some crazy shit that I don't believe. It's friends posting things in 10 seconds of each other that the exact opposite information. So I think I didn't even think that's a really good point, to make an album and a movie that is
It's just raw.
deeply honest and raw in this time is powerful.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's okay, and perhaps it's better to put things out into the world that showcase that, instead of what I think we see so much of on any number of streaming platforms, that every movie is the same and hits the same beats and hits everything. And that was never, I do think this film happened very organically, but it's something that I've always strived to do, is have things that are, it's going to always be called a music documentary. But within that, it's not about all of the career highs and lows for Linda. It's not a retrospective on that, or
no, it's much more
trying to get
that.
Four Non-Blondes back together. It's not those things. It's a personal story about an artist trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And more than an artist, a human being trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
And I feel like those stories are always necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said that like a few times now, like it's about everything and nothing. But at least for me, it was very much about like gut instinct.
I like how she pops in.
She's really smart and really awesome.
It's like all of a sudden.
It's like quiet adults talking now.
Like, I don't know, it just like, it was about gut instinct, emotional intelligence, and like getting out of your own way. And I really like that, because going back to what you were both just saying about like this is such a polarizing time that we're living in, and people are either frozen or overly reactive. And from what I gathered from you, it's like your natural tendency is to almost be self-destructive, but you get out of your way in time to make something that is art, and that like luckily speaks to a lot of people, so it does get to go public. And I think that that is something that is really helpful for people in this time, whether they're creative and they need that guide and that blueprint, or just people living in this world where it's like, I don't know what the fuck is real, but tapping into your gut instinct to know what will help you move forward in whatever industry or personal path that is very powerful.
Yeah. Do you feel like, for both of you actually, when it comes to gut instincts and the art that you make, did you always trust your gut, or is it something you learned the older you got? Or
Oh my God, I don't have a mind like, I listen to you and I'm like going, God, she's so smart.
Wow.
You talk is so intellectual. I'm so jealous. I don't have that. I have very small basic words, and everything, I dropped out in 8th grade, and I even failed before, up until then, everything was like, I was great in PE, and
Well,
social
lesbian,
friends.
yeah.
But I told them yesterday, like, principals used to call me in the office and they're like, Miss Perry, why are you here? Because I was failing everything. I'm like, to make friends, they're like, school is not to make friends, it's to educate, and you're wasting our teachers' time by not being present, and I'm like, okay, well, what do you want me to do? And they're like, leave, but back then they didn't. I mean, the thing is, I can't, my brain, I'm not dyslexic, but my brain turns everything around. When I read, I can only get through one paragraph, and then I forget everything I read.
Wow.
If you try to teach me something, I can't. I get overwhelmed. If I see a bunch of numbers on, like, my assistant, I have to call her, and literally I have like weird OCD in this area. She has to explain to me all the dates and the times very slowly, because if I see it on a paper, I get really overwhelmed. I don't understand what I'm looking at. So I'm very insecure in that space, but I'm extremely street smart, and I have great common sense. And the one thing that has saved me is my gut instinct. I would never trust my mind about anything, but that feeling inside me, it is active. It always has been.
Yep.
It's witchy. My grandmother was a very popular palm reader. So all the people in the neighborhood would go to my grandmother, and she
Wow.
never took any money. And they would come to her and say, my daughter's sick. And she would look at the palm and she would tell them, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
If they get healed, bring me a blanket or a loaf of bread. Never money.
Wow.
And so she was very powerful. And I saw pictures of her, and she looks very intense. My mom had it. My mom dreamt. I don't know what it's called, but her dreams would come true. She would see things in her dreams. And her sister was more on the evil side. Like I had met her one time and I was so affected by her in such a negative way.
Wow.
Very black magic. And she
Wow.
was very negative, so anyways, when people say that about me, I'm like, keep it away from me right now. But my gut instinct, which is my, whatever it is, has got me from here to there. Like where I am is because of my gut.
In songs like What's Up and Beautiful and the other unbelievable iconic songs you have, when the gut instinct is telling you to write them, I get asked this question all the time and I have an answer-ish, but I'm going to ask you, let's just use Beautiful. When you wrote it, did you know, oh, fuck, this is special? Like, did your gut raise its hand and go, Linda, something crazy has just been written?
No, I mean, it's not like that. It's more like it just is meant to be.
Yeah.
I don't look at it like, oh, I just wrote something special, because I don't really think it's coming from me, and because the way they show up, it's so pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the melody's there, the lyrics show up. It all comes at the same time.
Right.
I'm not sitting there for hours. I just sit at the piano or guitar and I just start playing, and then I just don't think about it, and I just move my hands wherever it's asking me to go.
Yeah.
And then the lyrics start showing up and I'm just ad-libbing, saying things. I'll do that for like 15, 20 minutes. Then arrangement, a whole song is there. I'll listen and I record it on my phone, or if I'm at the studio in my Pro Tools. And then I just go back, I listen to it, and I write down all the lyrics, fill in the holes, and there it is. And the only thing I know is if it was meant to be there, because otherwise it wouldn't happen so easy.
Yep.
What's Up was the same thing. You know, it was just, I think I wrote that one in 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I stepped away from it when the words "I am beautiful" showed up.
Right.
That was not me.
Yeah.
That was something else. And when I am beautiful, I was just like, no, I can't say that.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
And so I literally, like, taking the foot off the gas, I hopped out of the car and went to the other side of the room. And I was like, okay, what is that? And I had to talk myself back over there, because I had to tell my own lesson, like, Linda, we don't edit. We don't think. We just write what's there.
Yep.
Fucking get it back over to the piano. And I went over there and I'm just like, okay, I'm beautiful. Thank God the second verse came in as a third person. To all your friends, you're delirious. I was just like, thank you. I didn't mean for that. It was like another person showed up. Therefore, I was able to go, you are beautiful. And I was like, phew, God. Okay.
Take this off myself.
Take
for a
this
second.
off me. And then the only intentional thing I did was go we, because I was like, okay, well, that makes sense.
I, you, we.
It's like, then I got to go to we after that. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that the only time I got really super excited about a song, and I did call it out and I said, this is a hit, was when I wrote Get the Party Started.
Yeah.
That was the stupidest fucking song. And I was just like having fun with that, because I was learning about, what a Trident keyboard was, and, roll-in expansion cards and MPCs, like, because I was trying to figure out, what is that terrible sound on the radio right now? And everybody said, it's these three things, MPC, Trident, and these roll-in expansion cards has all these, sounds in it. And so I got all three of those things, and I'm on my MPC. Someone gave me like, the biggest file of, like the drives were like that, and I'm sticking it in there, and all these sounds come up, and I'm like, okay, boom, 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 and then I grab my bongos, and I'm just like, playing bongos, because I didn't find a bongo sound, so I'm just like going, and mind you, this is all like 3.5 minutes. I didn't have Pro Tools. I was on tape.
Right.
So I'm just like, for 3.5 minutes playing bongos. And then I'm like, then the bass, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go with the regular bass, boom, boom, and just play that for 3.5 minutes. And then, just every single sound I could find, I'm just like going, ding, ding, guitar, wah, wah. Okay, I pick up my bullet microphone, and then I'm just like going, okay, I'm gonna think of every cliche thing I can think of, and it just came out. I'm coming up, so I mean, it's so cocky and ridiculous. And then I just started laughing, and I'm like, oh my God, I wrote a dance hit,
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
A really, really good
So that's
one.
the only time
You were like, this is a hit.
this is a hit.
Because you were just like
It
playing.
was so stupid. It was like ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was just like in awe that I could be so dumb and write something.
Don,
like that.
can you remember a moment in your career where you just like creatively were just like, let's just be fucking dumb and something magical happened?
It might be a little tougher in documentary filmmaking.
Because it's such a long form.
It might be a little more challenging, but I think something that maybe not dumb, but just really was experimental is the animation in Linda's film.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, that was sort of a pretty big swing for us because in making it, Linda, as you know, tells these amazing stories, and we just were like, how do we visualize this in the film? What is the way? Do we go get stock footage or have reels of tape rolling, or I don't know.
Yeah.
And somebody on the team had the idea about animation, and they knew this firm out of the UK called Studio Linguini that did this they'd done a couple of music videos that had this stop motion thing. And so I started talking to him, and I've never really done that in any other film, is had somebody like that. And I learned a ton about just how animation works and how you have to stick with whatever idea comes. You can't really change it once you get into the middle of it. So that to me is just a really big creative swing and a lot of trust in those team, because we had like, what are you guys doing? It's a small team in the UK making these giant sets, and then they'd send me like 4 seconds here, 4 seconds there, because it takes forever to render.
Yeah.
And okay, I guess the pieces are going to come together here.
Yeah. I mean, it is a special moment in the first time it, like, all of a sudden there's this animated hat coming, which I wore my hat for Linda today. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. Because those of us who are fans of you and now lucky to call you a friend, the hat is iconic. So when there's the fucking animated hat, I was like, oh, we go into
that hat.
We are on a journey. So the last question we ask every episode is, what advice would you give your younger self about the art of collaboration? What is something that you wish you would have known sooner to make you a better collaborator?
I think, my journey to make documentaries is I don't know that there is one right way. We all get into this, and very few of the people I ever work with are like strict, like I went to film school or I went to the documentary program at Stanford. Everybody's had a unique path, but I think starting the way that I did, coming up through television news, where we were cranking out stories every day.
Yeah.
And the positive of that, it's allowed me to work very quickly, and I'm able to wear a lot of hats, from producing a piece to filming it myself to editing it, but there isn't a lot of collaboration in that. And I think the people that I meet that have gone through film school have that understand that there's a lot of different people doing a lot of different roles.
Yep.
And so maybe if I could go back and tell my younger self to open that world up faster and not necessarily try to. I think in my first couple of films, I had a directing partner at the time, and we would really do all of the jobs.
Yeah.
And that's hard. And it also you're not bringing in different viewpoints.
Yeah.
So I think the movies could have maybe been better if we had collaborated more. So I would love to go back and try that.
What I love, I've because we've been lucky enough to talk to people from all different mediums and genres, and I would say half of the people give that exact answer, and that's my answer too. Is just like, realize you don't have to do everything, and that like having help is really cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'd love to hear a director say that, because I've heard now musicians and makeup artists and all these different people say the same thing. It's I'd love to see that common thread. Linda, do you have advice for younger Linda about collaboration?
I'm gonna have to snip that thread of yours, that common thread.
Please,
and say,
I love it.
I do not. I do not. I would not change one thing. I love my journey. My journey continues to grow. So to me, if I would have known those collaborations earlier, it would have pivoted me in some way.
Yeah.
And I would not have had this. I have this growth that's always going like this.
Yeah.
And it's because of the choices I've made. It's because of the way the universe wants to unfold.
Yeah.
It's navigating me.
Yeah.
And I am definitely moving by design.
Yeah.
So I do not. I think it's awesome that at 60 years old, I put a songwriting team together for the very first time.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
And I want to do more of that.
Yeah.
Now, guess what? I'm inspired, and it's going to take me another 10 years, into creative to, so I'm always learning something new. And sometimes things might take a little longer, but I'm okay with that because one little alteration could change all of it. And I'm digging where I'm going.
Yeah.
And I like who I've become.
Yeah.
Like I can see that. Like I think I can honestly see from this film and just from like all the attention I'm getting like right now, like with the album and the film, like I see that there is I was saying it last night, there is a power in me.
Yeah.
But I don't walk in that like, oh, I'm Linda Perry, powerful. People say they're intimidated by me all the time, and I'm thinking, really?
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, I'm so...
Well, you mean a lot to people.
What does that mean?
What?
That little smirk you just gave.
The intimidation?
Yeah.
You don't think you can be intimidating?
I think I'm verbal.
Arriving here, you rolled down your window and flipped me off.
Because that was just fun. I'm still in the movie with you. Like, for me, it's that we're always in a continual movie.
No, I think, one, I love that answer. And I'm glad that you didn't give your younger self advice, that you didn't have the cheat codes, because you meant so much to me. I was a huge Four Non Blondes fan, as you know. And then knowing that you went from that and your major label artist career ended and you became a huge songwriter is the reason I went, okay, I guess I'm going to try to be a songwriter. When that door opened for me, I was like, well, I didn't know you yet, but I'm like, well, Linda Perry's did it. She's also gay. I guess gay people can do that.
Gay people can. Crazy.
And
who knew?
Who knew? And it was if there is intimidation, I think it's because your legacy is a lot more powerful than you realize. There is no way I would have ever gone, I guess I should write for other people now that my major label career has ended as an artist.
Right.
If you hadn't done it first.
Right.
And I think that carries a lot of weight.
Yeah, I guess I appreciate that. I guess I don't think about it that way because I don't know. I like I said, I like hanging off the edge. I never, I don't want to be, content. And I think that's like, I have to constantly be multitasking because my brain on its own with just one little thing, it's like, it's too much. It's like, I don't know if you go through this as a creator and you as well, but I have a hard time sleeping because it's always going. If I had to get up every single fucking time that there's an idea, I would probably be crazy and in some kind of asylum right now because I'm constantly like, you gotta wake up, there's an idea, and I'm just like, oh no, please. And then I get up and I write down that, or I just grab my guitar, and because I'll hear stuff in my head all the time.
Yeah.
And so it's like I need a lot of stuff to occupy myself. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
I find that we as creators, it's all of it. So I wish I could tell my younger self to run, run now.
Yeah.
Go. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I needed all that.
Yeah.
I needed it part of my journey.
Yeah.
I'm a survivor.
Yeah, you are.
And I see people that don't get that experience, and I do not want to be them.
Yeah.
I do not. I'd rather be tethered and leathered and worn and walk through this life knowing that I'm a really cool looking leather pair of pants, you know?
I mean, that's the best button to the end of an episode that I've ever fucking heard. Thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Watch Unfamous on Spotify. Subscribe for no ads. I'll see you there.